Good morning. It's Aaron Zauber of Fully Alive Coaching TV here, or Fully Alive Coaching, doing Fully Alive Coaching TV. And this morning, I'm going to take some callers. We're going to have some conversations. We'll do a little embodied meditation here. I'm just going to speak from my heart today. I noticed rewatching the last episode, just that my gifts really do not lie in having the answers. I'll share some things that have helped me in my journey get to where I am. Some ideas that at least maybe can conjure up some food for thought for you at the very least. But where I really shine, what my gift here really is in being a mirror for people. So I can use my curiosity and ask you questions. And I bring a lot of love and approval for wherever you're at, because chances are, emotionally, wherever you're at, I've experienced some degree of that. And if I haven't, then I can at least hold some space for wherever you are. So I'd love to do that. If you want to call in, um, if you want to talk about your goals, talk about your dreams. I love talking to people about where they're headed. What coaching is a conversation about where someone is and where they're headed, where they're going, and it's about getting from where you are to where you want to be. So you can call in by Skype. It's just going to be your voice. No one's going to see you. And the Skype audio is pretty clear. So you can use Computers 2K Voice. That's the number 2. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. Or you can call in with the phone number, which you might want to write down or type it into your phone. Just grab your phone out there. 919-518-9773. And I'd love to have a conversation with you. Exploring your consciousness is what I'm all about. There's that phrase, know thyself. There's power in knowledge, and we can access some of your power, access some of your deeper knowledge, and discover what's going on, so that you can be where you want to be. So I'll start off while we're waiting on a caller here. I'll start off with an embodiment meditation. And if you call in the middle of the meditation, that's okay. We'll finish the meditation. We'll just go real quick. But before we do the little body scan here, some of you may be meditators, some of you maybe you've dabbled or you've thought about meditating, some of you maybe have never done it. Why would somebody meditate? And why would you participate in a little body scan with me here? Well, for years I tried meditating because I heard a lot of highly successful entrepreneurs talking about how big of a difference it made in their lives. So I thought, okay, well, if it's working for them, I want to try it for me and see if it can make a difference. And it really made almost no difference for years, because I was doing this sort of mindfulness thing that it just wasn't working. And maybe you resonate with that. Maybe you've tried meditating and it hasn't made a big difference. Well, it's been making a difference since I discovered somatic meditation. And what that means is meditating with your body. So the idea is this. What you see in the world around you is in many ways a reflection of who you are inside. Let me give you an example of that. Say you're feeling happy. You're out at the just say you're at the grocery store, and you know what? Everything's going pretty well in your life. When you're out and about, you're at the grocery store, you might feel like kind of looking people in the eyes more. You might feel more sociable. You might see the world around you and notice other people are smiling and other people are feeling pretty good. Notice how your own mood and your own set point in your body often gets projected out into the world around you. in a lot of ways, we are just projecting our own consciousness onto the world around us, right? So the idea is that if we can really get to know who we are and what we are and really directly experience reality through our bodies, which is where we experience reality, right? I mean, where else does it happen? For a lot of people, it does, a lot of it's up here, but the sensations, the meaning in life happens in our bodies. So if we can get to know that experience, the idea is that we get to know life. We get to know what it means to be human and to be having this experience we're having. So that's why we might want to meditate. It's just for the purpose of self-discovery in and of itself. That's one. Another reason you might want to accompany me here in this short body scan meditation we're going to do. Another reason is that when we put our awareness in our bodies, what happens is the tension that we're carrying has a chance to come to the surface. And then just like gold being refined, when gold is refined, what happens is it gets melted down in a pot called a crucible. And all the impurities just slowly come to the top. And what they do is they scrape those impurities off the top. And that's kind of how it works when we do body meditation. The tension in our body has a chance to become conscious. So we can know it. And that allows us to relax. It allows us to relax at a very deep level. And in my meditation lineage, we compare enlightenment. What is enlightenment? We compare it to just total relaxation of the body, just a complete open experience of life, not resisting it, but just allowing life to happen as it really is, which of course, where does it happen for us? Well, if you're a human, it's happening for you here in your body. Okay, so there's two good reasons to join me in this meditation. If you just want to be more relaxed in your life, if you want to have more energy, and if you want to have more, more power, it's really the same thing, energy, power. Maybe I can talk more about that later. Then join me in this meditation, and then we're gonna take a caller or two. All right, so here we go. So everybody take a deep breath. Maybe you're in your kitchen, maybe you're in your car, maybe you're just relaxing at your computer. Take a deep breath, and I want you to become aware of your feet. So notice your feet, notice your toes, and notice how as you put your awareness in your feet, then you might become aware of sensations there. And without judgment, just be with that. Just put your awareness there. And now invite any tension to relax and let go. And imagine your breath. Imagine that you have not just a breath into your lungs, but you have an inner breath of awareness. And as you breathe, that inner breath of awareness is filling your feet, and it's healing the tissue in your feet, the skin and bones and tendons. And invite your feet to relax. Now feel your lower legs, feel your calves and shins and ankles. And isn't that nice? So I can already feel in my body how it's letting go, and how any thoughts that I'm having are sort of they're just going along. Notice how when you put your awareness in your body on a certain body part, or just your ankles, your lower legs, notice how your thoughts just kind of drift away. They just kind of do their own thing, and you're not spinning out on your own thoughts anymore. Just noticing the relaxation and the freedom that's available to you in your calves and shins, feeling your knees, noticing your upper legs, Just being with the sensations in your legs. Just doing this with me right now. And imagine, maybe you're sitting, maybe your feet are flat on the floor, maybe you're laying down. Just imagine that any tension is just dissolving, it's just draining away, and you're just feeling more and more relaxed, more open. You're noticing the sensations in and around your lower legs. Notice your pelvis, relax and let go of tension. Notice your whole lower body again, just relaxing and letting go. Feeling your intestines, just relaxing. Your stomach, abdomen. Just notice how any tension can really just dissolve. Feel your lower back. Notice how present you are when you allow your awareness to rest, to gently rest in your body, in this vehicle you have for moving through your life. Again, notice that inner breath of awareness. Maybe yours has a color. A lot of times I imagine there's green healing, love energy just filling up my body. And you can do the same thing. Breathe into your mid chest, to your heart, your back, shoulders. Just notice how peaceful that is. Almost like you're remembering some peacefulness that's always been there. Feel your upper arms, shoulders, elbows, and your forearms and wrists and fingers, your neck and throat. Breathe into your whole body. Finally, your jaw and face, your eyes. Just really consciously inviting it all to relax. Finally, your head, just the top of your head, and feeling your awareness all over your whole body. So in a way, what we're doing here is is loving is loving life. It's loving our bodies. It's loving who we are and what we are. I read in the book Immortal Self that love is simply pure presence. And that really struck a chord in me because for several months I'd been writing about how when what I imagine love to be is just being with, it's the capacity to be with. And at one level, it seems like everybody's looking for love. The Beatles song came on, all you need is love. All you need is love. We have all these songs about love. And we're also pretty confused about what love is, right? What in the world is that? Maybe it's just the capacity to be with. And I want to suggest to you that maybe when you're with your body in this way, when you practice being with your own life, that you're practicing love. And that's something that you can cultivate, something you are cultivating, even just by being here, by living your life, by going to your work, by showing up for your family and for your friends, by allowing yourself to be seen, by asking questions and using curiosity. I want to suggest that that's what you're doing here. That part of the purpose that you're here is to learn how to love. And that's going to show up differently for everybody. But, when you are able to be with yourself, which, meditation, somatic meditation is one way to do that. The more that we're able to be with ourselves, the more we're able to be with everybody else. And maybe that's what love is. When we have a hard time being with somebody, it really has to do with how we feel when we're around that person, right? So it's like if we ever have somebody in our life that, I really don't like that person, or that person's hard for me to be around. What's happening? What's happening in that situation? We get around somebody and there's like some conflict. Well, really what's happening is we feel some level of intensity inside of ourselves. Those feelings we feel, those are not coming from outside of ourselves necessarily. And there may be some paradox in here. I mean, gosh, I say a lot of these things, a lot of these ideas, and in so many of it, I go back and I listen and I'm like, oh, I see the paradox. But consider for a minute that in your sphere of influence, what you can direct in your own life is your orientation to what you feel inside your vehicle, right? Inside your body. So we do these things. We do yoga, right? Or we do some sort of exercise. That's an embodiment experience. It's an embodiment practice. Embodiment, again, just in meaning that we're able to be with what's happening in our bodies. I love these words like embodiment or enlightenment. Where's that N happening? Where's that M happening? That's an interior orientation, right? That prefix on the word embodiment or enlightenment, it's happening inside. Enlightenment, embodiment, right? So that's what we're doing here. And now, if you want to take it to the next level, what we can do is we can explore your consciousness through a conversation. We can have a conversation you can call in. And I would love for that to happen. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking at you, spouting off these ideas that might make sense. They might not. But really, we know ourselves in connection. I guess, connection to ourselves, but also connection to another. So what I'd love to talk about is somebody's dream. So if you're somebody right now and you've got some dreams or some goals, or maybe you would like to have some dreams and goals and you're not really sure what they should be, or you're not sure what you want them to be, you're a good person to call in to talk to me. And I'm just a regular person, so you don't have to be nervous. It's just going to be your voice. And you can even if you want, you can even give me a fake name so nobody knows it's you. So that phone number is 919-518-9773. I'd love for you to call in. I'm just going to ask you questions. We're just going to talk about what's going on. Where are you at? Where do you want to go? And really, you'll be doing me a huge favor because that's where I shine. Like I said in the beginning, I don't have the answers. The best I can do is tell you some of the things that have worked for me. And I'll continue to do that. And what I would really love if you want to call in and just have a conversation. What's going on? You have some goals, right? You have some goals in your life? And if you don't, maybe you want to set some so we can do that together. Just some real simple stuff, maybe 5-10 minutes. We'll talk about it, get to know each other a little bit. And you can also use Skype, Computers 2K Voice. That's the number 2, Computers 2K Voice, all one word. And I'd love to have a conversation about your goals and dreams and your purpose and maybe some challenges, what's in the way of you really having everything that you want and of living the life that you really want. Astrologically speaking, there's a lot going on. And, I notice it, everywhere I go, I feel, because I train my body on a daily basis, I feel a lot in people. I can feel all these different levels of things that they're holding. And so I know right now, particularly going to this fall season where things are more internal, this is a more, even if you think about the sap in the trees, so like the leaves fall off trees, right? And the sap goes inward. So there's an energetic, a seasonal situation happening right now where everything, if you're in the northern hemisphere, I guess, everything is going a bit more inward. So this is really a good time to examine that process, to be with that process, and to allow yourself an opportunity for that. So, okay, so what are we going to talk about next? I'd love to, if you've got your cell phone nearby, you got an iPhone, type in the phone number 919-518-9773, 919-518-9773. We can have a conversation. And or I can keep on talking. And if no one calls in, I might sing. So if there's a threat for you, I'm gonna lay that one out. So one of the things I like to do is sing. It's helped me. I'm wearing my musical shirt today. You can see the musical notes on it. I talk a lot about resonance and about frequencies. In this same book, I mentioned Immortal Self. They talk about this language that used to be here on this planet that was taken away. It was a universal language, and it was a lot more musical than whatever languages we're working with now. They say that there were 144 phonemes, which I think is like either a musicality thing or some sort of sound. I looked it up and I still don't even remember what a phoneme is, but it sounds like a lot of them, 144. And there's a musicality to what we're doing here in life. So just wanted to mention all that. Maybe I will sing. Maybe I will sing a little song. A song came to me after my meditation one morning about sort of, a struggle that I was going through. And I'll just sing that for you now. Maybe you can sort of feel more of my soul essence, my true essence when I sing. That usually comes out. So yeah, I'll just sing that now. There is a reason for this that I don't understand. So please, God, give me strength. Please take these humble hands and lead me to love. From darkness to light, from fear back to trust, from death back to life. So that was a song that came to me when I was just going through a particular challenge. Like, we don't always understand, right, why these challenges come. But let me share about some of the things that have helped me. One of them is the singing. Just like letting a song come through me. A lot of times it just kind of hits me. Some people I've been talking to have an art that they do, another different type of art, like painting or sculpting. There's a whole even category of art therapy you might have heard of that people use to just to help them get in touch with their emotions and live life. A lot of times now that I said the word therapy, I want to put a disclaimer out there that what I do is not therapy. And the difference between therapy and coaching is usually therapy is usually helping someone deal with an issue that's occurred in the past and sort of helping them resolve, helping them heal from trauma, or helping them to resolve something that's happened in the past. Coaching can feel like therapy sometimes because sometimes traumas do get resolved. But really, coaching is about where are you right now and where do you want to be, and how can we help you get there faster, or help you get there at all. So I did want to mention that. And then the other thing I'll mention, if you've just tuned in, you didn't catch the beginning of this, is that coaching is really different from what I'm doing right now. Like, this is not actually coaching what I'm doing right now. I'm just talking. I'm just sharing. This is not coaching. Coaching is a conversation. And in coaching, the coachee, so there's a coach and a coachee, right? The coachee really is the one with the answers. And the best coaches just ask a lot of questions and maybe suggest, like, oh, hey, I see this thing that you're doing. Like, I see where you're being mean to yourself right there. That's, or it seems like you're being mean to yourself. Is that happening? That would be an example of a coaching question. It's just helping somebody gain awareness. And why I love the coaching model so much is because it it really honors the sovereignty of the individual. Anyone that wants you to follow them is probably not someone worth following. Probably that person has an agenda. And what I find, like the leaders that I trust are telling me to follow my truth and what's inside me and to follow my own path and to remember and reclaim my own sovereignty as a human being. I talk about this concept of power, right? Sovereignty and power, they're kind of related. And um, what I see in our world it's really messing people up is where we get mixed up between power, which is just energy. If you think about the power company, um, that's the energy company, right? It's the same thing, right? Energy is power. And we get power, like a neutral power, confused with power over. Now, power over, that's the opposite of self sovereignty. It's not the same thing. And, this all relates back to the meditation because it's like there's subtle ways that all of us are really conditioned to try to control. That's what power over is. Power over is control. And when we can see those areas in our lives where we're trying to control either ourselves or our environment around us, then we can let go of that and we can experience the freedom of what it's like really to rest in the energy of who we really are and the power of whom we really are. It takes a lot of effort to try to sustain this control, this power over paradigm. So sometimes we can be afraid of power, we can be afraid of energy because maybe we're afraid we're going to misuse it or we've seen power misused, right? We've seen, it's like a similar thing with money, right? Money, if you think about like a dollar bill is a physical representation of energy. Okay, so it's energy and then dollar bill, right? So I'm going to get you to visualize this. And you can know this is true because it takes energy to make money, right? I got to go like rake somebody's lawn, mow somebody's lawn. I've got to expend some energy, and then what do they give me in return? Boom, $75, a representation of the energy that I expended in service of helping them, right? So then, boom, I got money, physical representation. So, okay, how do I tie all this in together? It's a lot of different threads here. Basically, at the subatomic level, it's all energy, right? It's energy, and then we can sort of direct that, we can influence it, and we can guide that. But remember that you are sovereign over your vehicle, over your body, over your choices, and don't give that power away unconsciously. Now that's an interesting idea, right? Giving our power away. We can talk about that. Um, I would want to think about what to say on that a little bit more. But okay, so there's some food for thought on power. I see a lot of ways that we all try to unconsciously control situations in our lives. And what ends up happening is that causes us a lot of pain. It causes pain. I mean, again, the way that we try to control whether it appears to be inside of us or outside of us, inside of our body or in the circumstances around us, that's based on a faulty on a faulty understanding of how things work here. It's and the attachment to our idea of how things should be as opposed to our gentle resting in how they actually are. Okay, get that? The control, okay, trying to make it a certain way. If I hold my body like this for 27 years, do you think it's going to be painful when I recognize that? Or do you think that I'm going to run into some pain at some point? Of course. So when we try to control ourselves and our surroundings, eventually we're going to run into pain. And maybe that pain is the gateway to letting go. If that makes sense. And if we can practice being with that just a little bit at a time, then we can start to unwind our false ideas about what's going on here. We can slowly but surely find more freedom, find more relief. We can slowly but surely live our dreams a little bit more. What dreams would be better than the dreams that are really inside of our soul that want to come out and express themselves? And then here we are, with our top-down mentality that we're conditioned to have, and we're trying to stop that from happening because we're afraid. We're conditioned. We're conditioned to resist the experience of life. The experience of life can be intense. All right. So we have a call coming in. No call. Okay. False alarm. I would love to talk to you about your goals and dreams, and we can discover that. I'm gonna take a sip of water real quick. Let's discover what some simple goals for yourself might be. Maybe just for this week, or maybe you've got an issue you're dealing with. I talk about some intense stuff because I'm an intense dude, and I get carried away with it sometimes. But when it comes down to it, we're all kind of dealing with mundane situations in our lives, or what I would call mundane, like trying to go to bed on time or wake up on time for work, right? Or we just want to, like show up for our family or like eat healthy, right? This is how it's kind of manifests in the world is just simple stuff, right? Or maybe we've got some sort of image in our mind about a life we want to live. Maybe we want to have like that fancy car that's been on our vision board for a long time. Maybe we've got dreams of the house, the dream house. If you're like me, you have one of those. That off-grid, solar-powered, all natural materials, uh self, self-heated is a proper word for that, like hempcrete home, with the natural sewage and drainage system and the biodynamic organic garden. And that's just the house in the mountains, right? There's the beach house too. So maybe you've got a dream like that you want to share, you want to talk about. When we allow ourselves, I was talking with a friend this morning about this idea of exposure, of allowing ourselves to be seen, and of putting ourselves in circumstances that might make us a little bit nervous or a little bit uncomfortable. For example, like calling in and talking to some crazy dude on the Fully Alive Coaching TV. And he and I were talking. We've done some crazy things. I talked about in the first episode here how I went out over 1,000 nights to bars and clubs, sober, approaching women and trying to figure out the dating and attraction game. And so he and I did a lot of that together. And I called him before the show. I was like, just warming up a little bit. I want to have something to talk about. And I always feel inspired talking to him. So so we were talking about how we have this sort of brand of intensity that it's a blessing and a curse. It's a double-edged sword. Where was I going with all this? Um, I don't remember where I was going with all this. You know what I wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about this paradox of allowing the painful stuff to come to the surface, and the other side of that, which is focusing on what we want more of. I find that people like to talk about this. People identify with this part a lot. A lot of the coaches out there really talk a lot about focusing on what we want to grow, right? I can even I can feel people's ears perking up right now. Yes, we want to grow what we want to focus on, what we want to grow, right? That's a real thing. Last night I played the Grateful game with my partner Christian, where do you ever play the Grateful game? That's where basically you just uh, tell each other what you're grateful for. It's a very simple game. You're like, I'm grateful for my health. That would be an example. I'm grateful for my car, that it works. I'm grateful for, my voice, like whatever. You can just grateful for all this stuff. Oh, we got a call coming in. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So to the phones here. Hello, and welcome to Fully Live Radio. Who am I speaking to?
Lori.
Hi, Lori. Good morning.
Hi.
Where
Good
are you calling
morning.
in from?
North Carolina.
Oh, great. Oh, I think I know. So, thanks so much for calling in. What had you call in this morning?
What had me call in?
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to talk about pursuing passions and removing blocks.
Mm, I love that subject. Yeah. What are some of your passions, Lori?
Mm, well, I'd like to become a healer,
Mm.
and I would like to become a clinical hypnotherapist. And there's just a lot of different classes I wanted to take. And I was wondering how, you go about removing blocks so you can um, pursue the passions that you want to pursue in life.
Well, that's a beautiful, beautiful goal, beautiful dream. I love that so much. To be a healer, to be a clinical. Sorry, say the clinical part again. What was it? Clinical
It's a
healer.
hypnotherapist.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
hypnotherapist.
clinic. Yeah, it's yeah, where you
That's
work with people who have addictions and um, any type of problem. So you do hypnotherapy with them to try to overcome their issues, whatever they might be.
that is so gorgeous. Yeah, the first thing that comes to me, because I know you asked to how to clear the blocks. So I want to talk about that in a second. But first, I want to ask, have you set up any sort of like vision board for yourself around these goals?
No, not I have not.
Okay.
No,
Have
not
you heard
yet.
of that idea though?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask, it's so beautiful, and I feel so much energy. I feel so much positive energy just in your sharing that. And I
Hmm.
imagine, there's around 1,500 to 2,000 people that will be tuning into this. And so just your courage to come out and say, "This is what I'm pursuing," that might actually help other people. So first, I wanna honor your courage to say, like, "This is my dream," because that can be a lot sometimes. Just to get there can take a lot. I mean, you're the first person to call in after 38 minutes. So thank you for, first of all, having
Hmm.
that dream and then being willing to admit it. And now I wanna invite you to consider, spending just a few minutes each day with that dream. How often do you allow
Okay.
yourself to really envision it and stay with that dream?
Well, it kind of comes and goes. I guess
Okay?
I probably need to focus on it like on a daily basis, right?
Well, does it so when you focus on it, like, how does that feel for you?
Oh, well, it feels wonderful when I focus on it.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I was feeling the same thing. Just in your saying the dream, I was like, "Whoa, a lot of energy in there." So so if you continue to put your focus on it in a just in a relaxed way without sort of clinging on to it and getting too attached, but also not denying it, allowing that, almost like imagining your dream is like a butterfly in the palm of your
Mhm.
hand,
Uh-huh.
and you're not going to close in on it because that would kill the butterfly, right? But
Right,
you're
right, yeah.
also, not you're not looking away, like you're looking at it. You're letting the butterfly be there and appreciating it. So maybe you want to spend a few minutes, and then what do you feel is a block? What's a block to this dream that you'd like to bring forward?
Um, I'm not sure what the block is. I'm not really sure
How
what's
about
blocking me. I don't
Yeah.
what?
Well, how about this? Would you be willing to put a hand on your heart? Maybe that dream lives there, and
Uh-huh.
take a deep breath in, and maybe
Okay.
maybe you just want to say to yourself, "May the way to my dreams be fully open and all the blocks cleared."
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I said it in my
Okay.
mind.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
No, there nothing I can think of.
Thank you so much for calling in, Laurie. That means a lot to
Okay,
me, and I know there's some viewers out there who are gonna get some inspiration from your call. So please
okay.
keep that dream alive. Please just spend a few minutes on it each day, because that is a beautiful, beautiful dream, and you can have
Okay.
it. You
Thank you
can
very
experience
much.
it. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Bye bye.
All right, bye. So you can, if you're like me, you can feel some of that the energy that's in there. I love that just when I was talking about putting our attention on what we want to grow, that someone called in and shared their dream. So that was a cool real-time illustration of that. I think it's important, if we're doing this work where we practice cultivating our capacity to be with all of life, and not just the pretty parts or not just the parts that we prefer. We're practicing that. I think it's equally as important, if not more important, to spend some time focusing on what we want to grow. Because that's another law, right? We've got, a bunch of universal laws. What we focus on grows. Where we put our attention, that's where energy flows. Energy flows where attention goes. There's a saying right that like that, right? So what you resist persists, but where you put your energy, that's what you're going to energize, right? And that's why I see, sometimes like there's these ideas about resisting certain things. When we resist something in our life, it gives a lot of energy to it. And maybe we don't want to give energy to the thing that we don't want to grow, right? Have you thought of that? So again, just honoring Laurie for calling in, sharing the dream. And maybe there's someone else out there who wants to call in and talk about their dream and just wants to be on this cool little platform where you get to have, 5 minutes of fame here with the Fully Alive coach. And just talk about what's going on for you. Talk about goals, talk about your dream. Maybe you just want to share it. Maybe you want to put some positive energy into what what we're trying to create here. So focus on what we want to grow. Let's talk a little bit more about that because that felt really good. I imagine a world where people are really empowered in terms of just knowing who they are, knowing what they will and will not stand for, but they're also not trying to control themselves or anyone else. They're just really being themselves. That's the type of world I want to be in. I think we're living at a really cool time in history where there's a lot of transformation happening, and we've been on this sort of upward trend for a long time. Where if you think back like 500 or so years ago, and to the governments of the world, we were all sort of in these. There were a lot of feudal systems going on where there was just like a lord of the keep, right? And the lord, of course, it was always a male, a man. It was very imbalanced that way. And then there were basically like, some knights, and then there were all the peasants and all the servants. I know not every government was like that, but there was a lot of that happening, right? Especially, I guess, in the Western world. But the trend has been this, what I call the decentralization of power, where slowly, more and more, the power is sort of coming back to the individual. It's getting more and more local. To think about what we have now, and it's been a wild history. Obviously, there's been wars and terrible things that have happened, and lots of terrible things. And at the same time, there's this trend up where we have the United States, where I am, where probably a lot of you are, where there's 50 of these states, which is a more local government, but they're sort of all cooperating with each other. And then we have all these like municipalities, we have these cities that are cooperating. And what this allows is for us to be more and more individual, who we really are, but at the same time to be more connected, right? We have this internet where the whole planet is starting to come online, literally the entire planet. And the more that we can decentralize that power and decentralize the locus of control and take responsibility back, that's what power really is. It's responsibility. It's taking responsibility um, to to ask for what we need and to trade with each other. And to spend our energy instead of spending our energy on wars and fighting each other, we can spend our energy cooperating and just like working things out and enjoying ourselves. So that's a trend that I see that's really positive in the world, even with like the cryptocurrency revolution and how, we're going from these central banks, right? You hear it in the world, like centralized power down to, individuals being able to use money in a decentralized way. This is, I talk about this and it might seem unrelated, but literally this is what's happening at a grand scale on the globe can also happen and really is happening to a large extent in our lives. And what I'm inviting you to consider is that we can catalyze that process. We can speed it up. And the result of this process is just it's more light, it's more freedom, it's more love. At least that's my hope. That's what I think is happening. When we can relax more, we don't have to fight our lives so much. You know, that's nice when life can really work for us more. So that's some of my vision and what I'm wanting to create in this world. And I enjoyed that so much when Laurie called in. I would love if someone wants to call in by Skype. If you're at your computer and you're listening to this, just go over to Skype, type in computers 2K voice. It's just the number two, the letter K, as in kilo, computers 2K voice, and it'll just be your voice. And we can have a conversation for just a few more minutes here. Like I was saying before, I can come up here and I can talk, and this is not where I really shine is in the talking. Like, I have some ideas, whatever. I read a few books. I listened to thousands of hours of podcasts and did some experiments, some crazy experiments in my life, like going out 1,000 nights and approaching women in nightclubs, or just the authentic relating stuff for a couple years. I ran a men's group for a couple years. I'm a certified human potential coach, a graduate of One Taste Life Coach program. But it's like every idea that I come up with, it's just that. And we don't need more ideas in this world. We really don't. The last thing that I'm looking for now is like 5 surefire strategies to supercharge my whatever it is, marketing ploy. I don't, and maybe this is a personal preference. I mean, of course it is, but that's just what I'm looking for, and what I think at least some of you out there are looking for right now is a connection. And that's what I can offer. I can offer a connection. If you want to expose yourself in a way, allow yourself to be seen, allow yourself to be known, so we can explore your consciousness. Let's do that. Let's just explore your consciousness. So if you call in, I'll stop yabbering and we'll have a conversation about what's going on for you. What is your dream? What are your goals? The number is 919-518-9773. So grab your cell phone. I know it's sitting right there. And just type in the number 919-518-9773. Let's just have a real conversation. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm not even taking your information or anything at all. Just a fairly anonymous conversation with some dude who thinks he might be able to help you expand your self-knowledge and your self-discovery. And maybe we can help you get some clarity on your purpose, on your dreams, and your goals. That's really what I do best. So while somebody's calling in or thinking about calling in here, I do want to actually say a few words about kindness, because I've noticed over the last 10 years or so, I've become kinder to myself in my self-talk. And I think, and it's made a big difference for me and makes a big difference for my clients. I want to share that with you. There's a way that we all talk to ourselves in our head. We have this monologue going on, an inner monologue, or maybe it's an inner dialogue, or maybe you have a whole sort of team of voices in your head. um, so we have an inner voice, right? And notice that you can actually use that, first of all, right? It's a tool. And you can talk to yourself in your head. So first of all, notice that and notice how you're talking to yourself. I want to invite you to be really kind to yourself, because here you are with this, this beautiful body and this beautiful vehicle that can serve and love and help people and share, right? And sometimes when we mess up our plans in life, say we didn't go to bed on time, or we procrastinated the papers that we wanted to to fill out, right? It's something that we thought we should have done. We didn't do it. Sometimes we can go in and we can be really mean to ourselves in the way that we talk. And I want you to imagine that, maybe that's not helping. I think that was the big takeaway from, at least for me, that was what I got from the caller last week is like maybe there's a voice in our head that we can be nicer to ourselves with. And I've literally been talking to myself a lot of times, almost like, when a young child brings you a drawing. You ever had that happen where it's like, they bring you a drawing and they're like, I made this for you. And it's really adorable. And it's a drawing of maybe like a caterpillar or a dog, or maybe they just describe for you what they've drawn. And when you look at the paper, it's just a bunch of squiggles. Now, think about this. How are you going to treat that child? If you're a nice person, you're probably going to be nice to that kid and you're probably going to say, thank you so much. That's adorable. Because think about the tenderness and the fragility of a child who's just like doing their best to show some art. And what if we expect that child to be Monet or, Picasso, and we were to be mean to them like, "Oh, that's a terrible drawing." Do you think that child's going to want to keep drawing and keep honing their craft? Probably not. So this is what I'm doing with myself and a lot of times with my clients. And what we just need to really do to ourselves and with each other is treat ourselves like that same like 2 or 3-year-old kid and really give that kid praise. And no matter how ridiculous that drawing looks, and I'm using this drawing metaphor as an example for anything we do in our life. Like maybe we have a goal that we've been trying to complete for years, and maybe we still haven't done it, and it's still not happening, and it feels like we're still in the exact same place as when we started. I want you to imagine the difference if you told yourself, "Hey, you know what? You're doing the best you can and you're going to keep getting better." And really talking to yourself like that. Because your job, first and foremost, your job is to love the human that you get. Does that make sense? Like think of yourself not just as like a human and as the person, as Aaron or whatever your name is. Don't think of yourself as that person. Think of yourself as a spirit, because that's what you really are, right? You're much bigger than this body. This body's going to die probably one day, right? But something else is going to live on. And that thing that's going to live on is what is closer to what you really are. Now, you have a job while you're here on earth. And your job, part of your job is to learn how to love. And if you hate yourself, it's going to be hard to love other humans. So your job is really to practice loving yourself. And one of the most loving things you can do is to tell yourself, no matter what situation you're in, no matter how hard things get, no matter what sort of hurricane you're fighting in your own life or what sort of storm you're in, is to be nice and to be kind to the human whose job is your job to love. Does that make sense? So I just want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you throughout your week that whenever you catch yourself, if you start to talk to yourself in a mean voice, and I'm not saying don't allow yourself those containers that we've talked about to express what needs to be said, right? Because that's another danger of this like paradoxical thing. Allow the darkness to come up so it can come into the light and we can get free of the shadow. what you resist persists. So give yourself some time and space in a container, especially with someone like a coach or someone to hold some space for you so that you can do that. And while you're not doing that, like while you're not cultivating your capacity to be with darkness, be kind to yourself and talk to yourself in a nice way so that you can fulfill your job here, which is to learn how to love. Part of your job to learn how to love, to be kind to this human. And as you learn to do that, like the way your orientation is towards this human, the more kind you are, telling yourself, hey, you know what? You did your best. Good job on that. Recognize yourself for what you did do. Like, even if it's just showing up. Who was it? There's a famous person who talks about how showing up is like 80% of success. I don't know. I'm saying it now. I don't know if anyone said this before. I feel like I've heard quotes about this. The simplest things sometimes, we're just doing the simplest things if we're just showing up. Because no matter how we do in whatever it is we're doing, if we're just showing up, we're going to learn, we're going to get better. Our skills are, and we are not our skills. We're the spirit that has a chance to learn how to love this human. And we need to be patient with ourselves in this process. So please be kind to yourself as you're going about your life. And as we do that, as we learn how to love this human, what happens? We learn how to love other humans, and then life gets easier. We can be around when we learn how to be with this human, how to love this human, we're really doing it for everybody because we are all connected at a deep level. When think about your significant other, when they're going through something, or just a friend, if you don't have a significant other, think about someone who's close to you and how if they're going through something in their life, something hard, that chances are you feel that at some level, right? It's hard for you too. It's hard to see them going through that. It's hard to experience them going through that because you're experiencing that right along with them. So when you get good at loving this human, when you get good at being nice, being kind, being gentle with this human, and setting boundaries too, like that's part of it. That's why I talk about paradox. There's always sort of a paradox in all these things. Be gentle and be kind, but also, have some boundaries, set some simple goals, right? Have a dream, allow that dream to live like the butterfly, right? And then we can experience really more freedom. We can experience the truth of what it means to be here and be human. And I want to sort of come to a close here. We've just got a minute or two. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for the ways that you're growing in your life. And I want to thank you for being here on this planet at this time as a human because it's not always easy, right? And I want you to consider that just you being here is very helpful for other people because there's a way in which with our bodies and our presence and our love that we bring as humans and our truth that it filters out darkness. Like we're made out of light. Maybe we're made out of light. Let's just consider that. And when there's darkness around, people who are very light, we're actually filtering that for everybody. So maybe just by you being here and sort of being a filter in this world, you're making a difference. So if you watch this today, there's something inside you that wants to learn and grow and show up for people and serve and be a leader and take responsibility and also just be gentle and be kind and be true and be yourself. So that's what we're growing here. That's what we're creating. And that's the paradoxical focus that I want to energize along with the work that we're doing around being with all of life as it really is and being with the darkness. So we've got both things going on here. We're talking about balance and being fully alive. Well, there's a way to wrap up there. So just being with the whole picture, everything that's there. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been an awesome hour with you. I hope that you've learned some and you've grown. Have an awesome week. I'll talk to you next Tuesday at 11.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.